Today marks the anniversary of one of the biggest disasters in eastern Kentucky's history.
We sat down with the National Weather Service to break down the March 2nd, 2012 tornado outbreak.
Governor Andy Beshear awarded the city of Pikeville a $500,000 grant at Pikeville Medical Center today. Coming up, I'm Marianne Fletcher, and I'll tell you all about it.
Heavy rain and a few storms are possible overnight. I'll have those details right now at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Madison Pergram.
It's been 8 years since the worst tornado outbreak in eastern Kentucky's history.
The National Weather Service says 4 separate tornadoes affected 9 different counties in our part of the state.
Most of the widespread destruction was in West Liberty and Salyersville. WYMT's Lacey Roberts spoke to meteorologists about a day many of us will never forget.
26 lost their lives and more than 200 injuries from 18 tornadoes statewide. 3 of the biggest tornadoes were in eastern Kentucky.
Mountains by no means are a safe haven from tornadoes.
Now, that statement alone may shock some of you with the misconception tornadoes gravitate towards flat land.
We can get them really across all of eastern Kentucky.
March 2nd, 2012 is proof. But still many questions remain. One question is how a tornado can last as it crosses the mountains.
Do we have a strong cold front coming through, or are we going from afternoon where it's real hot and humid into the overnight hours where we're going to lose intensity?
As we go into early spring, weather systems can intensify, potentially causing another issue.
The West Liberty tornado was actually the longest track tornado in the entire country that year.
Traveling 86 miles with an EF3 intensity. Tornadoes are rated on a damage scale known as the EF scale from 0 to 5.
The upper echelon of that scale, the EF5s, which is the highest rated, so say winds approaching or above 200 miles an hour, that's essentially where your foundation is going to be wiped clean.
With the most damage done in West Liberty and Salyersville, those only reached as high as an EF3. The National Weather Service urges those to be prepared and take warnings just as seriously as if you were on flat land. In Jackson, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
And with this being Severe Weather Awareness Week, the National Weather Service will have a tornado drill Wednesday morning at 10:07 a.m.
And we could be tracking a little bit more storms tonight. Of course, nothing like March 2nd, but maybe just a few rumbles of thunder and gusty winds. We saw that rain earlier today. It was soggy at times. Now we've seen that move out of here a little bit, but more is expected for tonight. So we do have a marginal risk in our area that does include Laurel County, Whitley, McCreary, Wayne, Pulaski, a little bit of Knox. Remember, that's a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. So not expecting any widespread issues or any very severe storms, but a few strong ones are possible tonight. It's going to be ahead of that warm front that will nose into the mountains and bring us a little bit more rain and bring some severe weather mostly back into parts of western Kentucky. Well, we keep an eye on those winds tonight. Winds could be gusting anywhere from about 20 to 25 miles per hour. And honestly, we're going to be keeping an eye on these winds as we head into your Tuesday and into your Wednesday. It's going to be a little bit breezy, going to be a little bit gusty, but our main concern as we head into tonight and Tuesday is really going to be that heavy rain. So we'll talk about how much to expect coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. New cases of the coronavirus tonight across the nation. There are now 6 deaths in the United States, all in Washington state.
There are cases of the potentially deadly virus in 13 states, with the latest one being reported in New Hampshire. Meanwhile, President Trump and his coronavirus task force are meeting with drug company executives to get an update on developing a vaccine.
We've asked them to accelerate whatever they're doing in terms of a vaccine. Absolutely.
Almost 90,000 cases are now confirmed in at least 67 countries. The State Department raised its travel advisory for 2 regions in northern Italy to level 4, its highest level, urging Americans not to travel there.
In Whitley County, a woman is accused of stealing from the Williamsburg Walmart. Police say LaToya French stole 2 cell phones yesterday. Together, they were worth more than $2,000. French drove away from the store, but police were able to find her. They got the phones back. French is charged with theft by unlawful taking. Today, a man charged with killing his estranged ex-girlfriend pleaded not guilty. Joseph Hicks is accused of killing Sheena Baxter. Investigators found the mother of 3 dead in a storage unit. Police found evidence in multiple locations, including his car and a semi-truck, which they say linked him to Baxter's murder. The judge kept Hicks's bond at $1 million.
Governor Andy Beshear had a busy day in eastern Kentucky. During one stop in the mountains, he awarded the city of Pikeville a $500,000 Appalachian Regional Commission grant. WYMT's Marion Fletcher explains how this grant will help fill a shortage of nurses in our region.
It is a national problem.
Addressing challenges facing some of our most important employers in eastern Kentucky, and that's our healthcare industry.
Officials are hoping to alleviate a nursing shortage.
Healthcare is one of the ways that we are going to rebuild the economy in eastern Kentucky.
Monday, Governor Andy Beshear awarding the city of Pikeville with a $500,000 Appalachian Regional Commission grant.
The intent is to really create a pathway from students going into high school to really introduce them to health care.
The project is called Healthcare Employment Around Resource Training, also known as HART.
They really don't understand what the program's all about, so they realize they have to touch blood and to see things that maybe they're not really comfortable with.
Pikeville Medical Center CEO Donovan Blackburn says they will utilize the Summit building downtown as a training center.
The hope or the intent is by the fall semester of this year is to open with 30 additional nurses in that building.
Planning to grow the Eastern Kentucky program with Eastern Kentucky people. In Pike County, Marianne Fletcher, WYMT Mountain News.
Pikeville Medical Center is leasing the Summit building out for $1 each year while providing the equipment along with personnel and training within the hospital.
Kentucky added another location to issue real ID licenses. State officials said Monday that the new Madisonville office will handle widespread licensing requests. Starting October 1st, the new driver's licenses that comply with a federal travel law will be needed to board domestic flights or enter U.S. military bases. People without a real ID after that date will have to show another form of identification, such as a passport. The state previously opened real ID licensing offices in Frankfort, Bowling Green, Paducah, and Somerset.
A third Democratic candidate dropped out of the presidential race less than 24 hours before the big Super Tuesday contest. Senator Amy Klobuchar's campaign says she will suspend her presidential bid. Her announcement comes a day after Mayor Pete Buttigieg suspended his campaign. The two are expected to endorse former Vice President Joe Biden. 14 states and American Samoa will vote tomorrow, with more than 1,300 delegates up for grabs. A new CBS News poll shows Bernie Sanders leading in the biggest delegate prize states of California and Texas. And deputies in Boyle County are once again looking for a canine after their recent selection died in a freak accident last week.
Hero was the replacement dog for their drug dog, Nicky. Last week, he was going through training in Florida when he died. Now, a trainer from Florida has flown to Europe to find the perfect match for deputies. They say now it's just a matter of time before they can get a trained dog by their side.
It'll take anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks to put all the training, patrol, drug, tracking on the dog. And then from there, I'll go down anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks and work with the dog and certify with the dog.
Captain McCoy estimates it will be June before the dog is working by his side. He expects him and the sheriff to fly out in about a month to pick a dog.
Now to some sad news this hour. James Lipton, the creator and host of Inside the Actors Studio, died today. The 93-year-old was at his home in Manhattan. He suffered from bladder cancer, and his show Inside the Actors Studio was one of cable's longest running series. The TV show was nominated for 20 Emmys during Lipton's run. His hosting ended in 2018 when the program moved from Bravo to Ovation TV. Lipton was the recipient of 3 honorary doctorates, and he received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Daytime Emmys in 2016. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, if someone reaches out to you with a job opportunity that seems too good to be true, you might want to think twice.
We'll tell you about the Better Business Bureau's report on the riskiest scams.
And we have that heavy rain moving in tonight, but after that, nice temperatures and sunshine return. I'll have those details coming up.
Coming up, as coronavirus fears continue to spread across the United States, we talk with school officials in eastern Kentucky who say right now their plan is to treat it like the flu.